Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Funny Business Podcast. Thank you for tuning in once again. Hope you guys have enjoyed the last couple of episodes. If you're new to the program, thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. It's been an interesting week, to say the least, so we definitely got some good topics coming up for you today. My name is Matt, one of the co-hosts of the podcast. My other co-host is my best friend, Mike. Mike, what's going on?
Oh, Matt, I think we were talking before this podcast, and we felt like we haven't done a podcast in so long, but it's only been a week.
It did feel like a long time, but it was a good week, good weekend. Sports are back. The UFC had their thing on Saturday, their first main event, which was awesome. I actually watched like the whole thing. And it was just awesome to have live sports back on TV.
And, of course, the Last Dance documentary is being aired on ESPN. So
yes, which has just been awesome. And I think next week we'll be touching on that. So stay tuned for that.
Absolutely, Matt. Thank you for the ESPN All Access account for me to watch them because, you know, me being cheap on my TV, I don't buy that many cable channels.
Yeah, but it's a great documentary. So definitely stay tuned for next week for our analysis on that.
Absolutely. Now, Matt, I guess I'll throw into our entertainment segments for today. I went kind of a serious route for this first topic. Definitely, we're talking about, again, some of the coronavirus, also known as the worst time ever, of us trying to stay at home. But certainly, we've talked beforehand about how some businesses and organizations, and now talking about today, universities, about how they're trying to combat the coronavirus with some of their special events. You know, me working in higher ed, we did some things relating to our seniors. They got a senior send-off. It was beautiful, at least on us for Friday night, but a lot of colleges and universities are doing the same as well. They're using a lot of products like Zoom and Google Hangouts and all these other things, Facebook Live, all these things that, you know, I am very well aware of. But however, there are going to be some news stories that are coming out, and this one is really a serious one, Matt. I know we are a funny business podcast, but this one's a serious one, and I feel like there's some words of encouragement to talk about. I did see this on one of the Twitter. I actually saw it on my Twitter the other day, and it showed that the Oklahoma City University experienced a Zoom bomber during their graduation ceremony. To give everybody a little bit of a backstory here as far as what was happening, there was a individual who was doing a prayer, and I don't want to say conveniently, but oddly enough, he urged prayer to his classmates to use love in the face of evil. Where there is hate, may we be agents of love. The dude's name is... last name Williams. I'll keep the last names just so we can kind of get to the point of the story here. So a Zoom bomber bombed approximate 650 viewers and graduates that day. And what happened was took control of the broadcast. So took control of the whole entire Zoom broadcast and decided to put the screen to black, and then the N-word and a swastika suddenly appeared in front of the graduates and their loved ones watching from home. I would be certainly devastated during this, Matt. And, you know, I think for us to kind of talk about graduation, I know it's kind of a bummer for some of our individuals who are graduating high school or college to kind of experience this.
Yeah, it's so sad. Like, I don't understand what goes through people's minds that they have to do something like this. Like, it's a tough time for everyone. We don't need you going around and being a jerk or being a racist to make things even worse. Like, they're just trying to enjoy their graduation, not the way they want to, but the way that they kind of not have to, but just something to acknowledge them graduating. It's a big deal. Mm-hmm. Graduating high school, graduating college is a big deal. It's a big accomplishment. And then you have jerks like these out there that have to ruin it for everybody.
Yeah, I mean it's infuriating, to be completely honest. It's frustrating because I don't understand why somebody had to be like that at a graduation ceremony. You literally could be doing it on your own Zoom party with a bunch of buddies and keep it to yourselves, but you had to make it public. Now, I kind of did some digging, Matt, and was kind of looking around the Facebook pages of this Oklahoma City University. and kind of just wanted to see what their response was. They ended up actually doing a couple of statements. Their president got in touch with the statements. And what they're actually doing, Matt, is they're in contact with the local and state, and I think the FBI actually is in touch with Oklahoma City University to kind of talk about where we can find this man and basically discipline him for the outrageous act that he did.
Yeah, there definitely should be some sort of justice brought on for him, because not only did you ruin their ceremony, but the way he did it with the racial slur and the swastika, there's no need for anything like that. Not at a graduation. Just never. There's never a good time in the world, or never a time in the world where that stuff should be used.
Yeah. No, I'm going to do a horrible take, Matt. I think if it was more so like, I don't know. I sent you a TikTok the other night about a Formula One race going on, and there was a dude that was right next to the microphone that captures it and went as like the cars went by. If it was something, now like I said, this is a horrible take. I would rather, as the person who's producing the graduation ceremony, would rather have somebody like that to do something silly rather than the individual who did this at Oklahoma City University do something so outrageous. I would rather take that over something like this.
Absolutely. I mean, stuff like that can be kind of funny. The stuff that this guy did is just not even close to being remotely funny.
Yeah. I mean, even for us, like I said, we are the Funny Business Podcast, but we literally condemn any type of act that is something like this that occurred. And, I kind of want to back off from this story, Matt, because certainly the individual who did it doesn't necessarily need the attention, I don't think. But as far as us, I wanted to kind of go into detail, Matt. We know some pretty close friends that recently graduated. My girlfriend, obviously, Jenna, just graduated with her bachelor's, and there's a couple of other friends that we were friends back in college, still am, and there's a lot of emotion going around with some of our graduates, and I mean, for me, I listened to another podcast, and they were saying that they came out of college when it was in not the Great Depression, but when the stock market crashed back in 2008. And like jobs were very limited, the income was very limited. So, and then they're like, "Look at us, we're YouTube stars, and we have our own podcast, for crying out loud." And I think these individuals are going through the same thing right now, but I really think there is hope. I know we said Star Wars, May the 4th, last week, but there certainly is hope for, I think, our class of 2020, whether they're in high school or college.
Absolutely. I mean, just the way that they had to finish their college career, doing it online through Zoom for 2 months, it couldn't have been easy. I mean, no online class is easy enough, let alone when you have like 5 that you have to do, and you're focusing on graduation and, getting your resume set, getting ready for job applications. It's got to be a tough time, but if they can go through this, they can really go through anything. These last couple months have really, I feel like it's probably toughened up a lot of college students. And, for the healthcare graduates that get to go right into the real world and work in this right away, it's going to be a little shock, but it's nothing that I don't think they can't handle.
I think I would be absolutely terrified, Matt, and that obviously isn't why I'm in the field that I'm in, but for you to go in, I mean, I think I've asked a couple of our nursing students, because I've had a chance to talk to them. I said, "Are you excited or nervous that you're going to this situation?" They're like, "Honestly, I just want to help people out." And to me, that kind of gives you a little bit of butterflies when somebody goes up front and says, "Yeah, I just want to help people. I'll put myself on the line," which is why they're called frontline workers, and, take the distance of helping all the individuals out who are currently going through this right now.
Yeah, it definitely takes a special kind of person to work in the healthcare business. I know there's no way I could. I get a scrape in my knee and I'm out for a month. So there's no way I could deal with anything like this that's going on, or anything in the healthcare world.
Matt needs to get back in shape, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, big time. But yeah, I mean, even for all the graduates, it's definitely a scary time right now for everyone. But like I said, they did this, they can do anything.
Yeah, the resources are there. They've literally dealt with so much challenge during these past couple months, and literally, if they're able to graduate, which, Matt, both you and I have graduated at least once, and it's a pretty good accomplishment. And if you can make it through it once, and if you can make it through this challenge, the possibilities are endless no matter what.
Yeah, especially in today's world, there's so much that you can do with so many degrees that, I know it's tough not to be worried right now, but if I could ease the minds at all, like something's going to pop up at some point. It's not like this isn't going to be worth it and you did this for nothing. It's going to benefit you in the long run.
Yeah, no, you're right about that, Matt. So hopefully all of those who are listening that are currently going through this right now, we're thinking about you. We hope anything that comes along your way is great, positive, and hopefully if I don't know, Matt, I don't know if we're considered the experts here, but if there's ever a chance where somebody needs to reach out and for some advice or whatnot, or even just to, kind of vent a little bit, I think we're both here. I definitely am not putting that out unless you agree.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not the best at advice, but I can try my best.
just don't have our diets like Matt and I pick when it came to our top 10 list of fast food chain restaurants.
Yeah, definitely not always the best at advice, but I'll be here to listen if you need to vent.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. Same goes for me too. But we're gonna move on to our next segment. Speaking of a crappy situation, but pun intended. Again, finding another news article that I was just like, you know what? I kind of want to talk about this situation. So, Matt, I know you and I are not at this point yet, but the engagement season is upon us as far as at least our age. I wouldn't say right about now, but I know there's certainly a lot of people that are our age currently that are getting engaged and also getting married too, which is one of the scariest
It just seems like every time I go on Instagram, someone else either is getting engaged or having a kid, and I'm like, wow, I wonder if I'm going to have for lunch today. We'll get there.
No, Matt, those Instagram posts and those pictures, have you seen pictures of like rings and all that?
Yes. Oh, yeah. It's definitely engagement season.
So, oh my gosh, Matt, I'm reading this article. So, what happened was a California woman dreamed about eating an engagement ring. She woke up to find she really did.
She ate her engagement ring. That's insane.
Completely ate her engagement ring. Ready to hear this better? I skimmed through the article, wasn't paying attention. The lady's name on Tuesday, Jenna Evans, was on a high-speed train that was racing down the tracks. Her fiance by her side with some bad guys appeared. There was only one way to protect the 2.4 carat diamond engagement ring. Swallow it. So that's what Jenna did.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Swallowing your engagement ring. That's one of those things that, like, dreams. I'm actually like scared of like dreams because like they feel so real, and then you wake up and sometimes they're not. But in this case, like it actually is. Or like there's that stat that like you eat like 8 spiders a year in your sleep. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. And that's
like
gives me the heebie-jeebies.
That's like an actual fact. You eat like 8 spiders a year, like in your sleep. So like something like that, like you could like, it's just so weird. Like you have a dream of like this lady eating her engagement ring and then waking up to find that you actually did. How did she not like choke? Like how does that happen? How do you not realize that, hey, like I just put the ring in my mouth? Like I know you're in a dream, but like, if you have to go to the bathroom, you wake up and you go to the bathroom. I just don't understand how she didn't feel it.
I'm reading through this article, Matt. This was reported by NBC News, and she quoted herself, "When I woke up the morning, there was no ring on my finger. I couldn't help but laugh at it, and then I had to wake my fiance up and tell him that I had swallowed my engagement ring." So they decided to go to urgent care and letting the ring pass naturally through Jenna's system. Quite the
situation.
What's that?
The crappy situation.
Yeah, quite the crappy situation. Darn it, you said it before I did.
I think my favorite part of this article was when I guess she had an upper endoscopy to see like where the ring was.
Yeah.
And she said that she was afraid she was going to die from an upper endoscopy. She didn't think she was going to live. An upper endoscopy is like one of the most simplest procedures. Like I've actually had one. Like they just knock you out, so like you're not awake, and they stick like a small tube like down your throat. And she actually like was like terrified she wasn't gonna wake. I don't know if she was just scared of the fact that like it revolved around the wedding ring, but I'm like, it is. I don't quite understand that one.
If she was nervous about that, the I guess it's an X-ray per se to kind of give it a little bit more of a viewing,
more or less.
Yeah, something like that. Hate to say it, but I think she deserves to get an engagement ring down her gulp. So
Yeah, that better. Also, like, how big was the engagement ring?
I wasn't. I think it was a 2.4 carat diamond.
Okay.
I'm not into the diamond business just yet, but
Now, if the ring didn't come out like it used to be, does he have to get a new one?
I think from what I was reading from the article, it was saying that Oh yeah, I'm seeing where you saw the fear of the
endoscopy.
The endoscopy.
Yeah. Because, like, what if the ring, like, is, like, bent? Like, you can't keep... Well, do you keep that? Or, like, as a guy, would you go buy another engagement ring if it was, like, not what you bought it as?
Matt, I'll be completely honest. I have no idea. I'm not an engagement ring person yet, so it's like...
Well, I don't know. I feel like if it's not, like, what it was originally, like, maybe upgrade.
To what? One that actually can't fit down her gullet? Like,
no, just a ring that's maybe, if it's in the same condition, like, yeah, maybe you keep it. But, like, if it's not, it might be in the best interest to maybe try to get something different. Because, like, an engagement ring's, like, a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, obviously an engagement. I'm looking at the photo of her picture that she's showing with her ring, and I don't know, man. I feel like that can... that they could go through the system and have it get out yet in maybe 24 to 48 hours depending on how much you eat. Maybe if you were eating an omelet from Metz, you'd probably get out in 10 minutes. So
eat some curry.
Yeah. or some laxatives, whatever comes first.
And then another funny part of the article was at the end, they said they're still going to get married.
Yeah, because lodging...
because apparently her eating the engagement ring in her sleep is a sign that they shouldn't. I didn't quite understand that part either.
Listen, if you're in for adventure and you want to, swallow your ring just because bad guys are coming after you in some type of high-speed chase, I mean, I think you want to marry the person if that's the case.
Yes, absolutely. But all in all, like, I'm glad she's safe because that could have ended badly, and we wouldn't be laughing about this if it didn't go well.
No. Now, Matt, I know we're both on the social medias, Matt specifically for TikTok, but I saw this article and I thought, oh my goodness, we've seen so many blunders of engagements and just ring blunders itself that really had quite the story that was brought. I don't know if you have any right now that you could think of immediately of any engagement/ring stories that you'd want to share.
I saw this was sophomore year of college, sophomore junior year in Weiss at 1 o'clock in the morning or 12:30 in the morning. It was late.
Was it here locally or?
No, it was in Dallas.
Like
I saw this with my own eyes.
Wait, you're kidding?
Just wait. So it was like
what?
12:30, and he got one of those, those machines that have like the little paper rings for like a dime.
Yes.
Yeah, he got one of those and proposed with it.
Like, do you know if it's like authenticated that it was a true proposal or?
No, he got on one knee and like she started crying. She said yes, and they started like hugging. And
was there
this is legit story.
Clapping or like anybody happy?
No, everyone was like, "What the hell just happened?" Like, I was in line at checkout, and I look at the cashier. I was like, "Is that actually like going on right now?" She's like, "I think so." Like, wow. Okay. Why ever get so desperate that I have to buy an engagement ring from Weiss, a grocery store? I just don't know.
Shout out to our buddy Alan. If only we were at the beer section of Weiss, and he'd be able to do the what do you call it, the matrimony for the both of them.
Oh my god. I'd pay to watch that. I don't know. Do you have anything? Because that's pretty wild.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm more on the that's freaking weird.
College, man.
Oh,
things you do.
Yeah, things you do. Well, I mean, things you do in Weiss. That's even a specific one. Now you have to cover up with your face masks and all that. So make sure you're doing that. But I'm more on like the hilarious proposal side. I remember seeing a video on Facebook. Now, I was like thinking you'd totally see something on Facebook or something, but you actually experienced something.
Saw it with my own two eyes.
I saw it on, I believe, Facebook the one time, and it was a couple that was going apple picking, and I was the dude was getting on one knee and ready to propose, and the soon to be fiance had an apple in her hand, because apple picking, you like to grab and snack on some sometimes and then collect some apples for yourself. I'd never gone apple picking before, and somehow I know that. I feel like I'm relating to blueberry.
Apple picking is so fun. I used to do it all the time as a kid.
I feel like I'm relating it to blueberry picking enough. But anyway, nonetheless, guy got on one knee, legit ring, not a paper ring like Weiss. And the lady was like, "Are you kidding?" And the first reaction threw the apple that she was eating right at his face, because she thought it was a joke.
That's incredible. Could you imagine if it would have hit the ring and he would have dropped it and they wouldn't have found it?
Gosh.
Oh my gosh.
A follow-up story to that. Now, to kind of wrap that story up, they actually that's their personalities. Everybody thought oh, she's a jerk, she did this. Totally, that's their personalities as far as that whole situation occurring was that. But another thing about losing the ring was somebody actually proposed, I believe it was in New York City, tried to propose, either had the ring ready or was trying to get the ring out, and it fell in one of the grates as you're walking around the streets of New York City. Greatest thing in the world, state police, New York City police, and they got in touch with some of the sewage county and New York City sewage and all that. They found the ring.
No way.
Yes way. They found the ring. I think it was after 2 long days of searching. They found the ring.
That's incredible. You almost you can't get a divorce after that, because that story is just so awesome.
Yeah. I mean, if it was meant to be, it was meant to be, and the ring would be lost forever. So.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. If there's a will, there's a way, and they found a will to find that ring.
Oh, man. So hopefully this doesn't happen to either of us, Matt, or anybody who's listening to this podcast, of any blunder, or I hope you don't wear your engagement ring. Well, that's another thing. Why was she sleeping with the engagement ring?
I don't think that's too weird, because
it's like wearing
engagement
socks
rings are a big deal
sleep.
for women. I feel, and also we don't know how recent she got engaged. Maybe she just got proposed to, and she was didn't want to take it off yet. But I don't think that's too far out there, because girls really do love a good engagement ring,
and they do love the man that proposes it. Hopefully, so
hopefully,
or
he's got money.
Well, yeah, a lot of money, or I don't know what else. A good personality.
Always a good person.
Oh, yeah, certainly.
A fun guy.
Well, Matt, time to wrap up with our final topic for our entertainment segment before we wrap into a commercial break. Obviously, Matt, I've kind of geared this last topic or last question or last story towards something that we kind of find out a little bit more about each other during this time. And while we're still in quarantine, we're still in recording of quarantine, I'm kind of curious, Matt, what has been a skill, hobby, or interest that you are interested in trying to, I guess, achieve is the best way to cover all of those bases?
Yeah, so the one that really sticks out in my mind, I can't really do right now because you have to be outside and it has to be snowing, but I always wanted to learn how to ski.
Really?
Yes. I always thought it looked fun. Probably a lot harder than I think, because I feel like I could master it pretty quick, but I probably couldn't. Also very terrifying, because you're going super fast down a hill, and my mom actually got her whole knee torn up because some guy clipped her from behind when she was in high school. Yeah, but other than that, it seems like a really cool thing to do. I just was always chicken and never wanted to actually take the time to learn how to do it.
Like riding a bike?
Yeah, riding a bike. Yeah, I was going to say that would be my other one I'd like to learn how to do. Skiing, skateboarding, not skateboarding, snowboarding. I always thought those were two pretty cool activities.
Yeah. Now does your family...
They were pretty big in my high school. My high school actually had a ski club.
Oh, okay. Yeah, same with mine.
Yeah.
Does your family can your family... I know your mom skis, but is that kind of what the influence was, or?
I don't think she's skied since then, which is understandable. But no, we're not really a big skiing family.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I tried skateboarding beforehand, like when I was a kid at dinner. I actually got a skateboard. I almost said a skateboarding for my birthday. I got a skateboard for my birthday, and just, yeah, I tried learning how to ollie, I guess is the best, the thing to say, like the jump. Mm-hmm. Like,
yep.
Talk about my skateboard terminology, and yeah, I couldn't do it. The
closest I came to skateboarding was those like finger ones you did with the
yes,
those were sick.
Wow, what
yeah, what I'm
trying to think.
Bad radio.
I'm trying to think what the name of it was. Not the
I can't think
not
of it.
Skechers.
That's a sneaker.
Yes, a sneaker. Skechers. Oh, that's gonna bother me. Hopefully, it'll come to us. Maybe in the sports segment it'll come to us. Tech Decks.
That's true. It could. Yes, there it is. Tech Decks. There it is. There we go. Yeah, those things were so cool.
I love how every time I don't know the name of something, it doesn't happen. It's not revealed until I literally say, "Okay, I give up." Oh wait,
that's the
key. Chocolate Stampede, Tech Decks. What else? I try to.
Who knows what next week's gonna bring?
Yeah, right.
What's your skill hobby? I know you do pretty much. You try pretty much anything, right?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm able to do it, that doesn't involve money. I wouldn't mind trying it. I mean, I think my job constantly involves me trying new things and applying it. Whether that's Photoshop, video editing, photo editing, anything like that. Like, I kind of feel like I need to pick things up as I go along, or else I'm going to be left behind. But I think something opposite of away from my passion and my interests is learning how to play the piano. I've always wanted to learn how to play the piano. I've been influenced by my Aunt Betty. Well, not really. Yeah, I mean, yeah, she's a good influence. My Aunt Betty's a good influence. Wait till you hear this. So she plays organ for our church back at home. So okay. I just thought it was so fast. I mean, now playing an organ is different from playing a piano in ideal situations. But I know with her, like, it was so crazy how many songs she knew, how she could read notes so fast and be able to kind of ad-lib a little bit when, like, church was going on. But then I have a really good friend, Emily Bixler. Congratulations on graduating, by the way, Emily Bixler. She is a star. Literally, you show her sheet music, she could play anything. I'll pull up the one time. So we used to host a talent show back at Misericordia, and we had a segment where we called the halftime show, and it was the two co-hosts of the talent show that would do these little funny bits and whatnot. We always wanted to do something related to Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, James Corden, all those celebrities like that, all those late night hosts. I've always wanted to do thank you notes. Couldn't play the piano. I knew how to do a thank you note, just couldn't learn how to play the piano. And it wasn't until I met one of my friends that was one of her friends that was just playing piano. And I had the sheet music right with me because it was on my laptop, and I said, "Can you play this?" Literally first try, without even like knowing what I was looking at. I was like, "You want to be in the talent show this Friday night?" Like, it was like Wednesday, and you're like, "It's like, do you want to be in the talent show this Friday night?" And lo and behold, she did it for 2 years, and then she did it for another 2 years when I left college. And I think it's kind of like I'm going to use the terminology here. It's kind of like something that it's like a guitar. It's like a guitar. It gets the girls in the mood, and it gets, whatever you prefer, guys or girls, gets the guys or girls in the mood when you start playing it, because it's a talent. It's a legit talent. And I heard in one of the things that I listened to that they had a piano. Like, one of the dudes was a piano player, but only knew one song. And that was his party trick, was playing that one song on the piano. And he had to be careful because he would be like selective and like at the parties. If it was everybody that was there last week, he wouldn't play it. If it was a new batch of people, he'd play the same exact song. I forget what song it was, but I just think it'd be cool to like pick up some music and start like playing and being able to just harmonize and play some music and
just rock out.
Just literally rock out. I mean,
I've always I've always been jealous of people that could play an instrument. Like I actually had a guitar when I was a kid, and the only thing I could play is "Smoke on the Water," because I feel like everybody just who when they first get a guitar they learn how to play "Smoke on the Water," but then after that I never pursued it. But playing an instrument is pretty cool. I feel like that's one of the talents that like you really have to work hard at, and that's definitely something that I don't know if I have the attention span for, but I've always, idolized like artists, whether they're super popular or just like a friend that knows how to play the drums or play the guitar or something like that.
Absolutely, Matt. I think if at times I would hope to play any of the Star Wars songs, that would be kind of like my things to play. Or if I had to pick a top trending artist, it would be Bruno Mars, and it would be Versace on the Floor, because literally it just chords the whole entire time. So
yeah, I don't know what song I'd like. If there's a song that sticks out that I want to play on the guitar, maybe like Enter Sandman would be pretty cool or something like that.
Oh, on the guitar. I thought you were the piano.
On the
like,
guitar. No, on
that
the
wouldn't
guitar.
be a bad thing to try.
Piano would be pretty cool to play too. Play the Office theme song 24/7.
I think that's literally everyone's take, is trying to play the Office theme when they get a piano.
You can't beat it. You cannot beat it. Best theme song of all time.
Man, well, if you have a fun talent or anything that you could possibly teach us, if hopefully when the ski season comes in, hopefully if anybody wants to teach Matt and also ride a bike too. I mean, I'm not the only guy who's going to teach Matt how to ride a bike, but if anybody knows how,
that's my first goal, is to learn how to ride a bike first.
If you can ride a bike, you can ski. It's like the dodgeball quote. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Make sure you follow us on social media at Funny Business Entertainment. When we come back, Matt's got the sports topics.
All right, moving on to the sports topics for today's podcast. We're going to start off with the NFL. So the NFL schedule got released last week, so everybody's making their predictions on wins and losses and stuff like that. But what I wanted to focus on, usually they play a few games in Europe. So they play like 3 or 4 games over in London, and then they play a game in Mexico City. Due to COVID-19, they canceled all international games. And I always thought it was odd that the NFL kind of like played games over in Europe just because it's not as popular there. But apparently one of their goals is to one day have a franchise, like have their own team in Europe. So I wanted to kind of talk about if that really should be a thing, or if they should keep all of the NFL teams like in either North America or something like that. Because Europe, I think the problem if they put a franchise over in Europe is going to be travel. Obviously, they would have to come over to the United States 8 times at least if they don't make the playoffs to play a game. And I don't know how comfortable football players would be signing with a team in Europe if they have to do all that travel for just to complete like half the season.
Yeah, I was curious because I wasn't sure if that franchise, like, I didn't know if that was going to be like a European NFL that would just play against each other in Europe.
So the idea was just to have a team in the NFL, like, just join, like, as either an expansion team or have, like, I think Jacksonville Jaguars have been rumored to be moving from Jacksonville to London. So their goal was to put a franchise in Europe that would play with the American teams.
Yeah, so my take on this, Matt, is I really feel, and I hate to compare it to another sport, but I feel like I have to. I have to compare it to the other football, which is soccer, for those who don't know. But anyway, I feel like the reason why Major League Soccer, or MLS, was popular in the United States is because of the Americanization of sports, whether that's football, hockey, basketball. Hockey was in Canada, basketball was in Canada. Football is really the only, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, like the only sport that was originated in America. Is that correct?
Yeah, baseball may have been too.
Baseball
but,
too.
I mean, America's really the only country that they play like real American football, and it's the biggest sport in the country.
So it's almost, I want to take the United States out of it because I feel like for us, we Americanize way too many things like French fries, pizza, like sports.
That's fair.
Chinese, hibachi, like all these things are way too Americanized. And I really think that can apply to this whole European franchise. Because soccer originates in the England, or some of the European countries and all that, and China itself, or all these things. I feel like it's a reverse, almost kind of reverse take, because I don't think it's going to last. And also the complications that you were saying about players having to travel to London, and of course, not to Europe itself. Is it going to be located in London?
Yeah, that's usually when they go over to Europe. They play in like Wembley Stadium, which is like the big soccer stadium over there.
Yeah, I mean, and the other thing to look at it too, Matt, is I think to look at it from the Olympic standpoint. Like, there's no football that's in the Olympics, but yet there's soccer, there's basketball, baseball. Sometimes, I believe
baseball is just getting added in. I think next year when they play.
And hockey, I think, is the Winter Olympics too.
Yep.
But
yeah, that's a good point.
But looking at that, like, I think looking at that from an Olympic standpoint, I don't think you can get the fan base or you can get the mentality of players doing that. Another thing that the NFL should consider when competing over that way is rugby. Mm-hmm. Because rugby is very similar to the gridiron of football. And there is a well-established base of rugby than there is football, at least overseas.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't even think football would be like the top 10 most popular sport in England or in Europe in general. Like handball is actually very popular in Europe. And I've never even heard of a person that I know ever play handball. So I think if they would to put a franchise over there, they do get good turnouts at the games, but everyone's got like a different color jersey of like a different team. I think it would be hard to have people switch their fan base from, let's say, Tom Brady, and let's say they were Patriots fans when Brady was with the Patriots, to this team in Europe. Now, I think a lot of people would, but I think that's a big risk that they'd be having to take. And you bring up a good point about the Olympics. We're really, like I said, we're the only sport or only country that plays true American football. Even the Canadian Football League, they have different rules. And they don't really play football anywhere else. So I don't really understand why they feel the need that they need to expand the game. I understand it can bring in revenue from other countries and from international revenue, but the NFL is king of America, and they're never not going to be king of America. So I don't really understand why they feel like they have to have a need to have a team overseas.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm pulling a Dave Portnoy, but out of all the commissioners, I can't stand Roger Goodell. I really can't. He's the absolute worst. Yeah. I believe the best commissioner or someone of the higher authority that does a very good job, and I think I said this in our podcast previously, is the NBA commissioner, Adam Silver. He does a phenomenal job in bringing the NBA to outside of the United States. I think Africa, they actually host a couple games in Africa, but it's not...
They're starting their own basketball league in Africa.
Mm-hmm. But it's not something that's going to get cross-played overseas. Like, that's their own league that they're going to be worrying about, whereas Roger Goodell wants to play this type of crossover overseas type of game, and I don't know. I feel like it's just a way for him to try to make money, but really in reality, I feel like he's going to lose it all.
I agree. I don't really see it succeeding if it ever does happen, which I highly doubt it will happen, especially after this whole COVID-19 situation. But moving on to our second segment, you and I have both played a lot of video games growing up as a kid, and we play Fortnite to this day.
Heck yeah. Catch us on Fortnite live streaming when we actually have the chance at mixer.com/Mike Gambito.
Absolutely.
Had to throw that plug in.
We're getting better every day, folks. But I thought it'd be pretty cool to talk about maybe our favorite childhood or just favorite sport-related video game that we played as a kid. Now, I have a big list that I could choose from. But before I say mine, I'm curious to see what yours is, because I know we both played a little bit different style of video games as a kid, so I'm curious to see what you have to say about this.
So I guess it really, I think it's crazy how children are brought up with the video game console, because how limited, I don't want to say how limited, but the rights to some of the games are solely to Xbox, are solely to PlayStation, are solely to the Nintendo Switch or anything like that. Like, I find that so crazy that, you get brought up in a way. Honestly, some of my favorite sports games ever as a kid, and I think you might be able to agree with this too, to some degree, is any of the NBA 2K games. I find it funny when they start trying to promote the opposite platform, and it's like not coming to me. It's
NBA Live.
NBA Live.
Yeah.
I cannot see that comparison.
See, when I was younger, I only played NBA Live. I didn't really play 2K until like 2K12, and obviously, like, it's much better. And then NBA Live disappeared for a little bit, and now it's back. But yeah, as I loved NBA Live as a kid. Now, like, the quality is just not as good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I would think any of the 2K games, like, I kind of grew up with 2K11, 2K12, really focused on my player because I thought it was just cool having your own character and, you know, more so personifying yourself on the team and being able to get triple doubles on the, you know, on the nightly.
Yeah. And the soundtrack back in like 2K11, 2K12 was fire. I mean, I would sometimes just buy the game just for the soundtrack, like it was that good.
There's a couple of songs on my my iTunes because I didn't have Spotify when I was a kid, but I had Apple iTunes, and when I had the Apple Cash, I bought some. But
I still hear some of those songs, and my memory goes right back to those games,
right back to 2K. But I think another one. What's crazy is that I played 2K11 and 2K12 on the Nintendo Wii. Believe it or not.
Oh. Wow.
Right? Isn't that like crazy?
That had to be challenging.
It wasn't. So, getting a little technical here, a little nerdy here, but like with the Nintendo Wii, like you didn't necessarily have to pretend like you were shooting. You literally had to flick up the remote and then let it go when you felt like you hit the bar that it is for the perfect shot release, the shot release itself. Literally, I sat down there, just flick, like just kept flicking my wrist. I actually didn't throw my entire hand up to try to shoot, but so it was on Nintendo Wii. I also liked I'm a Nintendo guy, believe it or not, now that I'm like saying this stuff out loud. I had a Nintendo GameCube at one point, and I think this is another cross game that has been to a couple other things, and it's MVP Baseball 2005 by EA Sports. And it wasn't the fact that there was this season mode or anything like that. It was just exhibition games that I literally played night in and night out. Because here's the thing. For all those who still have MVP Baseball 2005 and still can play it, if you create a player and you name it Robert Patterson, what it is a short dude that literally has the stats of King Kong. Like, when you hit, like, it's you have no chance at all of the ball. It goes actually out of the park. And I remember when I used to hit it out of the park, it would like track how far the yardage was. It would stop the yardage, but you would know it's still going because the camera was still tracking the ball.
That's awesome.
So
I myself never got into MVP baseball. But baseball video games, there's just like so many to choose from. 2005 was your favorite year that you played it?
Yeah, and honestly, that was the only year I had it. Like, that was the only year I had it, and you know, I think it was just I was so stuck on games. I never had that time when it was like, okay, you got to buy to 2005, you got to buy 2006. Like, I didn't get into that mode until NBA 2K came out, because I had 2K18 for the Switch right now, but I also bought 2K19 when it came out too. I still have yet to get to 20 because I'm still in the playoffs. So it's like,
yeah, you gotta finish. Those seasons do take forever sometimes,
especially when you play 12-minute quarters. That's like,
yeah, that's even worse. That's true. So I have some honorable mentions that I'm going to throw out there. My favorite baseball video game, MLB Slugfest 2004.
Okay.
That game was so awesome. Did you ever play Slugfest?
I did not play Slugfest, but I'm like kind of hearing. I'm excited to hear the difference between that.
So for anyone that hasn't played Slugfest, or if you did play Slugfest, you know where I'm going with this. If you would get on a hot streak, like if you would go 2 for 3, your guy would come on fire.
Oh, okay. All right. I remember that.
So you'd be standing like let's say you hit a single, you'd be standing on first base. And they'd throw the ball to the first baseman. And if you were on fire, you could just start punching the guy. and he would drop the ball. You could run to second base. Then you'd become even more on fire. So like basically, the hotter you got, like the more hits you got with a player, the more like stronger he became, and you could just like beat the crap out of these guys and make them drop the ball. So you could. It was so insane, but it was so much fun, and like the gameplay was fun too. Like pitching and hitting was so much fun, but you can't get better than punching someone in a baseball video game. It was nuts.
Did you play the Yankees versus the Red Sox and just completely destroy them at times?
All the time. Yeah. All the time. I think I remember, someone on the Cardinals was on the cover, either Albert Pujols or Jim Edmonds.
Okay.
Something like that. But that was definitely one of my favorite sports video games. But my all-time favorite sport video game was the PC Backyard Baseball. Backyard Baseball.
I got scared. I was like, what are you going to say there, Matt?
I played Backyard Baseball all day, every day. Pablo Sanchez is the GOAT, the best athlete of all time. I mean, there's a guy on TikTok that he posts clips of him like raging during Backyard Baseball, and it's just so relatable because I did that all the time. Like it's funny because like you didn't even like half the players just like made up. Like they threw in a few like professional baseball players and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
but it was just like so much fun, and it was easy to play. You just click a button, and it was like the perfect childhood game. I feel like
for those types of games, there's not much. Like I think when it comes to sports like 2K, MLS, NBA, MLB, NFL, like you want to pick your team because you want to play with a team that you love and care about. Backyard Baseball, you literally can play whatever team you want because you're not going to get the Jeters, the A-Rods, or the, I'm throwing it way back, like the Manny Ramirez's or the Randy Johnsons or anything like that. Like you got kids on the block, literally. That's what it was. Like having kids on the block that just wanted to play baseball, and then you had like a couple of great players, and then Pablo Sanchez, like if you got him, like it was all over. Like
you basically won the game if you had Pablo Sanchez on your team.
Literally.
it was so awesome. And that's probably one of the games where like the commentating I don't skip through. I don't know why. Like I just like loved like the commentating. It was just like two random kids, but it was just like such a fun game to play.
I actually, Matt, I had one of the renditions from the PlayStation 2, believe it or not. And I enjoyed that game myself because it got so annoying when it came to some of the power-ups that came through, like the rocket one. Like you literally just had to make contact and it was out of the park. Like you didn't have to even like aim. Like you just hit it, boom, gone.
And then there's that bunting one where it bunts and then the ball just like floats around the field until someone has to go and chase it. That pissed me off so much. I freaking hated
frustrating.
That one.
Oh man, you're bringing some childhood frustration.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think of other characters. There was Pete Wheeler, who was really fast. Keisha Phillips was a beast. Kenny Kawaguchi, the all-time best baseball player that ever played in a wheelchair.
Oh yeah,
remember Kenny? Kenny was a good one too. But so many video games. It was a tough choice. I mean, there's just so many to choose from. They actually announced this week that Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 are coming back.
I did see
which
that.
I never played as a kid, but everyone's really excited about it, so I might have to give that a try.
I played American Wasteland and Tony Hawk's Underground 2 with like Bam and crew, like Bam Margera and crew. So I was really, I loved American Wasteland just because of how open, like there was no loading screens. And that was like the big like selling point was the fact that you could go from place to place to place with no loading screen. Like you can continue your combo, as they call it, continue your combo into the next place because they had like little connectors. Like it's just kind of funny when you realize that like how they had the no loading screen thing, and it was literally the smallest of alleyways, and you were able to just get on just to the different town. So
it's definitely funny to see like how sport, like video games in general, but specifically sport video games, have changed from like when we were a kid. It's definitely incredible, especially like the features,
sweat.
like the players. What was that?
You're seeing sweat now, like it's like
yeah, legit. But yeah, definitely sports video games always have a special place in our hearts.
Absolutely.
So it is now that time of the podcast, my good friend, for Take It. So quick segue back to last week. I thought that Taylor Swift was not going to stand a chance in our votes, and she kicked ass She just it was a murder. Katy Perry got murdered by our Twitter poll, so that's two in a row for me. I just like to point that out there.
So what's this week's? Because I don't really care.
Okay. Well, so this week's is not going to be as contentious. I don't think we're going to be yelling at each other. Okay. But it's a would you rather. There's three options.
All right.
So, would you rather get punched in the face once by Mike Tyson, take a fastball to the ribs by Randy Johnson, or get tackled over the middle full speed by Ray Lewis?
Matt, kind of give everybody a background as like each of those people.
So Mike Tyson probably has the most deadly right hand in the history of boxing. Randy Johnson is a 6'10" left-handed pitcher who could throw about 100. And Ray Lewis is probably one of the best middle linebackers to ever play a game. One of the strongest guys. Also probably killed a guy in Florida. That's beside the point. He got acquitted, but he definitely did it. Just like to point that out there. So yeah, would you rather? So punched in the face by Mike Tyson, take a Randy Johnson fastball to the ribs, or tackled full speed by Ray Lewis?
Oh, I kind of like found a loop. I almost found a loophole because you had to throw in a specific as far as what would happen to the individual. Mike Tyson's to the face, right?
Yes, Mike Tyson's right to the face.
I feel like my take it for this week is taking a fastball to the ribs by Randy Johnson.
I can understand why you want to go with that one. I think I'm going to choose Ray Lewis.
I thought you were gonna go with get punched in the face by Mike Tyson.
Absolutely, that is not even close to. If you choose getting punched in the face by Mike Tyson, just know you're going to die. He will kill you. Like, you're not going to survive that. Gloves, no gloves, nothing. You're dead.
See, here's my reason why, and I don't know if this is going to be up for discussion. You getting tackled by Ray Lewis, you're going to end up. Is there any like football gear on you, like that's straight up like? You get tackled.
Yeah, I think it would be you're both in pads.
I feel like you're going to break a lot of bones if you're not like totally trained.
See, my logic is the Randy Johnson one, like I can understand why people go with it, but you're definitely going to have broken ribs. Like, that's for sure going to happen.
But at least that's the only part of my body that's going to be broken, Matt.
Correct. Well, you could have a collapsed lung from the broken ribs.
Okay, well, you didn't tell me I was dying in any of these choices, Matt.
No, but I'm just saying, like, if you could take a 100-mile-an-hour fastball to the ribs, there's a chance you could have a collapsed lung or a punctured lung. With Ray Lewis, there is a teeny tiny chance that you don't get injured. Like, teeny tiny.
I don't know, Matt, because...
Like, if he tackled one of us, we're probably going to have something. But... like, I think Ray Lewis's is the only choice where, like, you're not definitely going to break something, or you're not. You might get like the wind knocked out of you. You might stay on the ground for 5 minutes. But
just 5 minutes, not 30 seconds.
You
just 5 minutes.
Some time to catch your breath. But there's no definite possibility that. Well, there's a possibility, but there's no definite. It's not definite that you're going to break something.
I really feel. See, I feel like you're really resting your laurels on having protective equipment on you when getting tackled by Ray Lewis, because even when somebody has protective equipment on, they still get injured in some way, shape, or form. And Matt, for the size that you are and for the size that Ray Lewis is, you're not going to stand a chance, buddy. But on top of that, I'm probably not going to end up well. But I can't. The other thing is, like, if you get tackled by Ray Lewis, like, you can kind of brace yourself, which I feel like you could with Randy Johnson, but you know what's going to happen with Randy Johnson. Like, you're going to see him on the mound, and I feel like the pain's going to be worse because you're going to expect it, and you know it's going to hurt. So it's going to be worse in your head. With Ray Lewis, I can at least be thinking, hey, there's a chance I could come out of this clean. I still, for the average Joes that you and I are, I still wouldn't have that. Like, if I see Ray Lewis coming at me like a bat out of hell, like I'm gonna start praying. Like, that's kind of my thing. Like, Randy Johnson, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, our bodies can withstand a lot, And like, I understand the fact that like getting a fastball to your ribs could have a lot more than getting tackled by Ray Lewis, but I just feel like there's more. It's almost like, would you rather get into a car crash or be stung by 30 bees in one area?
I'd probably choose the 30 Bs in that one.
Yeah, but like that's that's kind of my like take, is the fact that like you're gonna get hit by a truck. Like, I almost got hit by a truck when I was a freshman in high school. I do not want that. I had that experience when I was playing first base during my teen league baseball game. Stepped over first base, boom, got clobbered, got hit by a truck. I can only imagine how much pain you're going to be in when you get hit by Ray Lewis. The fact that it'll sting as a Randy Johnson, like the fact that like balls hit, boom, you're done. Like, you have the whole entire way of Ray Lewis getting you initially, bringing you down, and on top of Ray Lewis's motion and his weight, putting on top of you when he tackles you.
So would you rather, how do I want to phrase this? Would you rather have the breathing problem from, let's say Randy Johnson hits you, you break your rib. Would you rather deal with that breathing problem for like a month, or potentially have like a limp for like 2 weeks? Because Ray Lewis tackled you. My logic is like, I'll take my chance with the equipment, and I'll take my chance of maybe injuring myself, but there's a small chance I won't. With Randy Johnson, you know you're going to have breathing issues for a little while.
Let's
like every time you take a breath, you're going to feel it. If Ray Lewis breaks your leg, you can put your leg up in a cast, and you'll be okay. Every time you take a breath after that Randy Johnson fastball, it's going to be awful.
Let's not let this distract us from the fact that both of us did not want to get punched in the face by Mike Tyson.
Absolutely not. Mike Tyson, if I took one punch from Mike Tyson, I would be dead. I think most people would be dead.
What if it was a jab? Like, it wasn't a right hook. Like, literally, it was a boom.
So he released video now. He's
I saw that.
Floating the idea of a comeback.
No way.
Yes, he kind of said something like that this week, that he was thinking of maybe having to come back. Did you see those videos of him sparring with his partner?
It's insane. It wasn't like he was. It was almost like he was showing somebody something.
Yeah, he was just like training.
Yeah,
but he still has the speed and the force. No, even if it's jab, I don't need. No, there's no chance. I'm not taking. No, absolutely not. Your nose will be on the floor.
Yeah, like just yeah. And not.
Mike Tyson is probably the scariest person on this planet. Definitely.
It's like those Geico commercials, is having a snowball fight with Randy Johnson a bad idea.
Very much so.
Very much so.
None of these choices are good.
No.
If we had to pick the lesser of the evil, I'd probably go with Ray Lewis.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to take the Randy Johnson fastball, but we'll hopefully have the poll up for our social media pages. Hopefully somebody will step up and say, yeah, I want to take a punch to the face by Mike Tyson. So who knows? If we find that somebody, like, maybe we can find somebody who is half the man that Mike Tyson is and see how they fare out. I really don't think that's going to be
what else if they're willing to get punched in the face by Mike Tyson. What else will they do?
Yeah, right.
You know? That's crazy.
It's almost like, what else will you do for $1 million?
Yeah, what would you do for a Klondike bar?
Yeah, what would you do for a Klondike bar? Get punched in the face by Mike Tyson. Like,
absolutely not. No way.
Well, make sure you follow us on our social media and be able to tune in on the conversation. Until next time, make sure you stay away from any baseballs coming at you like Randy Johnson, and make sure you stay away from people that look like Ray Lewis, and don't get punched by Mike Tyson.
You stay classy, planet Earth.